Good evening, good evening. This is Marie Holiday, and today is Thursday, January 14th, 2021. And before we get started, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification button so you can be notified of ongoing uploads. And I just want to remind my audience, I have a goal for my channel to be at 100 subscribers by the end of January 2021. I'm currently at 74 subscribers from. And I really do want to thank everyone for viewing my channel, supporting my channel. And specifically, I want to thank all of my 74 subscribers for hitting that subscribe button and spread my channel to someone who may be able to benefit from it. So with that being said, let's get down to the next lecture. And this lecture is going to be a caveat from my upload on yesterday on do you have a gambling addiction? Are you addicted to gambling? Check that YouTube upload out on Are You Addicted to Gambling? And today's lecture is going to be, are you psychologically addicted to gambling? Hear what I'm saying? Are you psychologically addicted to gambling? And I do want to remind the audience I am a licensed clinical addiction specialist, and I specialize in assessing and treating people for alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and gambling addiction. So I am going to present this information from a clinical standpoint, but at the same time, I'm going to deliberately use everyday language. So pay attention. So, are you psychologically addicted to gambling? Before I actually get into that, I first need to describe to the audience what is psychological addiction. What is psychological addiction? First of all, psychological addiction is a term that describes the emotional or mental components of substance addiction, alcohol or drug addiction, or behavioral addiction, such as gambling, and the difficulty thinking about anything else other than the gambling or the alcohol use or the drug use. So that is what psychological addiction is. It's a term that describes the emotional or mental components of substance use disorder or behavior addiction, such as gambling, and the difficulty in thinking about anything else. In addition, psychological, which is mental, psychological addiction is the driving force that contributes to the compulsive, repeated behavior, such as gambling, alcohol, or drugs, that causes the person to continue that behavior in terms of the alcohol use or the drug use of the gambling addiction. So that psychological addiction is the driving force behind that person's high-risk behavior. And it's a reason for that. And I'm going to break this thing down to you. The reason why psychological dependency or psychological addiction is the driving force behind the person's repeated behavior with gambling, because there are three parts, there are three components that make up psychological addiction. So pay attention. Number one is preoccupation. Number two is the relationship with gambling. And number three is psychological defense. And I'm going to explain what each one is, because I'm going to just break this down so simple, it's going to all tie in together. First of all, that first component, preoccupation. Preoccupation is like mental obsession with the gambling, such as devising ways to get more gambling money. The person literally becomes so preoccupied and mentally obsessed or figure out ways on how they're going to get more and more of the money in order to gamble and to lose the money and to win it back and to lose it. So it's almost like they can be at work physically, they're just there, but actually mentally Their mind is on all of the ways they got to devise to try to get more money to feed that gambling addiction, even if it means not paying the rent, the mortgage, the car note, telling lies and manipulation. Literally begins to consume the person's thoughts. So that's the first component of psychological dependency that makes it so powerful. It's the preoccupation that ties into driving the person with the same high-risk compulsive gambling behavior. Number two, the relationship with gambling. The relationship with gambling is the second component that ties into psychological addiction. And what I mean by the relationship with gambling, when people go to those gambling establishments, with the sound of the bell, the lights, the flashing lights, the sight, all of that contributes to developing a relationship up here psychologically with that gambling by being in that gambling establishment. And that's a deliberate, in terms of the lights, the flashing lights, the sound, the ringing of the bells when people win money in those establishments, all of that contributes to the relationship with gambling, which drives the psychological addiction in terms of the mental obsession, the relationship. And what that does is contributes to the person to the continued high-risk behavior. So that's the second powerful component of psychological addiction, is the relationship with gambling. And the third component of psychological addiction is the psychological defenses. You can think of psychological defenses as a powerful shield to keep the gambler from hearing the truth when confronted by loved ones, whether it's the mother, father, sister, brother, significant other. They may go to this gambler and confront this gambler about their gambling, about the lies, about the manipulation, asking questions about where is the bill money. So when a loved one go to them out of concern, that gambler is going to respond in a defensive manner. That shield is going to come up. Psychological defenses are unconscious. They're designed to trick the gambler, and I'm here to tell you. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the three powerful components that tie into psychological dependency. It's number one, the preoccupation. Number two, the relationship with gambling. And number three, the psychological defenses. In combination, incongruent, in combination with each other, those three components is what make up psychological addiction, which is a powerful driving force to continue to allow the gambler to continue with the madness, to continue with the gambling, to continue with the losses in broken relationships because of their addiction. It is a very, very mentally driving force, a powerful driving force that contributes to the destructive behavior of gambling. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that pay attention to what I'm saying, and check out my prior video in terms of, do you have a gambling addiction? And if a person at this point, they're going to know whether or not they got a gambling addiction. Inside of them, they know. So it will be my recommendation to seek help from a licensed addiction specialist. You can call the 1-800 number. You can attend Gambling Anonymous groups. There's a lot of help out there. So I hope you all got something out of this. Simplify, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to hit that notification button and help this channel reach its goal of 100 subscribers by the end of January 2021. Simplify. Have a great evening.